the message was never meant for her. It was a small mistake, a tired father's thumb pressing send before his brain could catch up. But that single message, 2 simple words, would change everything in ways Caleb Hart never imagined. Caleb sat alone at his small kitchen table in his modest apartment in Columbus, staring at the faint glow of his phone screen while the rest of the apartment sat in silence. His 5-year-old son, Oliver, had finally fallen asleep on the couch after a long day of daycare and tears about missing his mom. The apartment smelled faintly of microwave macaroni and the lavender soap Caleb used when bathing his son before bed. Life had been heavy lately. 2 years earlier, Caleb's wife had passed away after a sudden illness, leaving him alone to raise Oliver while juggling a demanding job at a financial consulting firm downtown. The days were long, the nights even longer. Every morning felt like climbing a mountain he wasn't sure he had the strength to finish. That night, exhaustion wrapped around him like fog. His eyes burned as he typed a quick message to Oliver's babysitter, Rachel, thanking her for helping earlier that day. But his tired fingers slipped. Instead of sending the message to Rachel, he sent it to his boss. "I love you." The moment the message left his phone, Caleb froze. His stomach dropped. His boss, Victoria Hale, was known throughout the company as brilliant, intimidating, and impossibly professional. She ran the firm with precision and rarely smiled. People whispered that she had built her career with iron discipline and little patience for mistakes, and Caleb had just texted her, "I love you." His heart started pounding so loudly he could hear it in his ears. He frantically opened the message thread again, hoping maybe, just maybe, he had imagined it, but there it was, delivered. Caleb buried his face in his hands, whispering a quiet, defeated groan. After everything he had worked for, he felt a sense of accomplishment and pride. After months of proving himself as a dependable employee despite his struggles as a single father, this stupid mistake might cost him his job. Before the panic completely swallowed him, take a quick second to support this channel. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories about ordinary people finding unexpected hope, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel. Your support truly helps keep these stories alive. Caleb stared at the phone for 10 minutes, debating whether to send another message explaining the mistake. His fingers hovered over the keyboard again and again. But what could he say? "Sorry, that was meant for someone else. Please ignore that. Pretend that never happened." None of it sounded less awkward. Eventually, he sighed and placed the phone face down on the table, hoping maybe Victoria would simply assume it was an error and ignore it. Then came the knock. 3 slow, deliberate knocks on his apartment door. Caleb frowned. It was almost 9:30 p.m. No one visited him that late. Oliver stirred slightly on the couch, but didn't wake. Caleb walked to the door, confusion building with each step. When he opened it, his breath caught in his throat. Standing in the dim hallway light was Victoria Hale. She wore a dark coat over her business suit, her hair slightly windblown from the cold night air. But the expression on her face wasn't the stern one Caleb saw at the office every day. It was something softer, something uncertain. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Caleb's mind raced, trying to understand how she even knew where he lived. Then he remembered the emergency contact information employees filled out for HR files. Of course, she must have looked it up. "I'm so sorry," Caleb finally managed, his voice awkward and strained. His face felt hot with embarrassment. He tried to explain that the message had been meant for someone else, that it was just a mistake, that he never meant to make her uncomfortable. But Victoria gently raised a hand. Her voice was quiet. She said she knew it had probably been an accident, but she had still come anyway, because sometimes accidents reveal truths people are too afraid to say out loud. Caleb blinked in confusion. Victoria stepped inside slowly, glancing around the small apartment. Her eyes landed on Oliver sleeping peacefully under a blanket on the couch, clutching a stuffed dinosaur. Something in her expression shifted. Caleb explained everything then, how he'd been raising Oliver alone since losing his wife, how work had been overwhelming, how he constantly worried about failing both as a father and an employee. The words spilled out of him in a rush he didn't expect. Victoria listened quietly. Not like a boss, like a person. When he finished, the apartment felt strangely calm. Then Victoria did something Caleb never expected. She told him a story of her own. Years ago, before she became the powerful executive everyone feared, she had also been someone trying desperately to hold her life together. She had once been engaged, deeply in love, planning a future that seemed certain. But the man she loved died in a car accident weeks before their wedding. Instead of grieving openly, Victoria had buried herself in work. She built walls around her heart so high that no one at the office had ever truly known her. Until that message. When she saw the words "I love you" appear on her screen, something inside her stopped. For a moment, it reminded her of a time when those words still existed in her life. It made her realize how lonely she had become. Caleb listened quietly, stunned. For the first time, Victoria Hale didn't look like the untouchable executive everyone feared. She looked human, fragile, and tired. As the night stretched on, the two of them talked quietly while Oliver slept nearby. They talked about loss, about fear, about the strange ways life forces people to keep moving forward even when their hearts are still behind them. Somewhere during that conversation, something changed. Not suddenly at all. Not dramatically. Just a small shift, two lonely people realizing they understood each other. Weeks passed after that night. At the office, Victoria remained professional, but something had softened in the way she spoke to Caleb. She became unexpectedly flexible with his schedule when Oliver needed him. Sometimes she even asked how the little boy was doing. Then one Saturday afternoon, something even more surprising happened. Victoria showed up again. This time at a playground in Columbus where Caleb had taken Oliver to spend the afternoon. Oliver ran happily across the grass, laughing as he chased pigeons near the swings. The sound of that laughter filled the air with warmth. Victoria watched him play, her expression thoughtful. She admitted she hadn't realized how much she had missed simple moments like this: sunlight, laughter, the sound of a child discovering the world. Over time, those visits became more frequent. Oliver began greeting her with excited waves. Caleb slowly realized that the mistake he had once feared might ruin his career had quietly built something entirely unexpected. A connection. A friendship. Maybe even the beginning of something more. Years later, Caleb would still remember the night he accidentally sent those two words. The message that embarrassed him. The message that terrified him. The message that changed his life. Because sometimes life doesn't move forward through perfect plans. Sometimes it moves through accidents, through mistakes, through moments that seem small but open doors we never expected. Before this story ends, I want to ask you something special. Comment below and tell us where you're watching from, and share whether you believe that life's biggest blessings sometimes arrive through unexpected mistakes. One evening, long after that night, Caleb stood in his kitchen again, but this time he wasn't alone. Oliver sat at the table coloring pictures, and Victoria stood beside Caleb, laughing softly as Oliver insisted she help him draw a dinosaur bigger than the house. Caleb looked at the two of them, warmth spreading quietly through his chest. Then he picked up his phone and typed a message. "I love you." This time, it wasn't a mistake, and if this story touched your heart, please like the video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories like this.